If she doesn't make it, the house is already in my name. It will be over soon. Quiet sounded good, good, very good. The room went quiet at exactly the wrong moment. That was how Nurse Tasha Autumn would remember it later. Not the monitors, not the shouting, not even the alarms. The quiet. The kind of silence that only happens when people stop performing and their real intentions slip through. Room 7 at Harlow Medical Center had been loud since midnight. Machines humming. Shoes moving fast across polished floors. Voices calling vitals. Metal instruments clinking. Controlled chaos. Dr. Simone Ademi had been on her feet for 19 hours. At 33, she had already built a reputation as one of the most reliable high-risk delivery specialists in the hospital. She didn't panic. She didn't guess. She observed, calculated, acted. Stayed, worked, watched. The patient was Maya Briggs, 27 years old, 39 weeks pregnant. She had been admitted shortly after midnight with a placental tear that progressed faster than anyone expected. At first, there was hope, then concern, then urgency. By 2:00 a.m., Maya's blood pressure began dropping, not dramatically, worse, slowly, steadily. The kind of decline that tells experienced doctors something terrifying. The body has started making decisions before medicine can catch up. By 3:45, the energy inside room 7 changed. Every hospital worker knows that shift. The invisible moment when a room stops being routine and becomes a battle. People moved faster, spoke shorter, thought harder. At 3:47, Maya's heart stopped. Dr. Ademi called it instantly. Starting compressions, hands to chest, rhythm, pressure, count, airway, medication, protocol. The crash team arrived in under 60 seconds. Outside room 7, 3 people waited in the hallway. They had been there since 1:00 a.m. long enough that even exhausted night shift nurses had started noticing them. Not because they were loud. Because of how they stood, not anxious, not pacing, not praying, positioned. Like people waiting for an outcome they had already accepted. The man was Dex Briggs, 31, broad shoulders. Clean jawline, expensive watch. The kind of man who entered rooms expecting them to rearrange around him. He held his phone constantly, checking messages, checking time, checking something. He had entered Maya's room at 1:15, pressed a kiss to her forehead, squeezed her hand once, spoke softly, then stepped out to take a call. He never really came back. Beside him stood a woman in a green satin blouse, Farah, introduced to staff as Dex's cousin visiting from out of town. Nurse Tasha noticed the lie almost immediately. Cousins did not touch like that. Cousins did not lean into each other that way. Cousins did not attract wandering hands. Yet Dex's hand repeatedly drifted to the small of Farah's back whenever he thought no one was watching. On Dex's other side stood his mother, Renata Briggs, mid-60s, cashmere cardigan, gold earrings, perfect posture, perfect manicure. The unmistakable aura of someone who had spent decades getting her way. She carried herself like a woman who had never truly heard the word no. And if she had, she certainly never respected it. When Maya was admitted, Renata's reaction resembled someone learning a dinner reservation had been canceled. Mild inconvenience, nothing more. Dr. Ademi had noticed all 3 earlier. At 1:30, she stepped out to deliver an update. She gave the facts, answered questions, returned to work, but she never forgot what she saw in their faces. At 3:52, she stepped into the hallway again. Her expression was clinical neutrality, a mask doctors spend years building, the face that contains panic, grief, and hope without letting any of it leak. Dex looked up from his phone. "Is she? We lost her heartbeat at 3:47, Dr. Ademi said evenly. "We are working to bring her back. The situation is critical." Something moved across Dex's face. Tasha saw it from the nurse's station. She would think about that expression for weeks because it wasn't grief. It looked like grief, wore grief's shape, but underneath something colder moved. Calculation, assessment, numbers, outcomes. Farah touched his arm. Renata spoke first. What about the baby? Not Maya, the baby. Dr. Adami held her gaze. We are doing everything we can for both of them. Then she returned inside. At 4:01, Tasha heard something she was never meant to hear. She sat charting 12 feet away. The hallway had gone silent. Dex spoke low, but not low enough. If she doesn't make it, he said, the house reverts to joint title. I had it redrawn in October. Tasha froze. Her pen stopped moving. Renata answered even more quietly. Tasha only caught the last words. Finally, about time. Farah said nothing. She adjusted the strap of her handbag. Then looked toward room 7. Not worried, not scared, impatient, like someone delayed at an airport. Tasha slowly set her pen down, looked toward room 7, thought about Dr. Adami inside. Fighting to save a woman whose husband stood outside discussing property transfers. Her jaw tightened. She picked up her pen again and watched. At 4:23 the monitor changed. It wasn't dramatic. It never is. No cinematic gasp, no miraculous jolt, just a flutter, a tiny spike, then another, then a beat, weak, uncertain, searching, then rhythm, steadying. Like a person finding balance after stumbling. Dr. Adami had been moving non-stop for 36 minutes. Only then did she feel the tightness in her chest begin to loosen. She stepped closer to the bed, looked at the monitor, then at Maya, 27, dark hair spread across the pillow, oxygen mask fogging softly, fragile, broken, alive. Then a secondary screen updated. Simone's eyes locked on it. She stared. 5 seconds, 10, 20, 30. No one spoke. Finally, she called for Tasha. Tasha entered, looked at the monitor. Then at Simone, then back again. Her eyes widened. Does the family know? Tasha asked. No, Dr. Adami said. Not yet. The weight in those 2 words filled the room. Neither woman commented. They didn't need to. At 4:31, Dr. Adami stepped into the hallway again. Dex stood immediately. Farah straightened. Renata folded her hands. She's alive, Dr. Adami said. 2 seconds of silence. 2 long seconds where 3 faces transformed. Whatever they truly felt disappeared. Masks slid into place. Dex swallowed, then said the perfect thing. Thank God, correct words, correct volume. Correct expression. 1 second too slow. Renata said, when can we see her? She's unconscious and needs to remain that way for now, Dr. Adami said. The situation is still delicate. She paused. There is something else I need to speak with you about. All 3 of you. She gestured toward the small consultation room at the end of the corridor. The one with the round table and the box of tissues and nothing on the walls. The room where news gets delivered sitting down. Tasha did not follow them in. She wasn't invited. But the consultation room had a window onto the hallway, and she had charting that needed to be done at the station directly across from it. She could see their faces. She couldn't hear the words. She watched Dex receive the information. She watched Farah's grip tighten on her purse strap. She watched Renata's hand go to the gold chain at her throat and stay there. Whatever Dr. Adami was telling them, it was not what they had expected. What Dr. Adami told them was this. Maya Briggs had not been carrying 1 baby. She had been carrying 2. The second twin, smaller, positioned behind the first throughout the pregnancy in a way that appeared on early scans as a shadow, had been monitored closely since week 21. Both had been delivered by emergency cesarean during the resuscitation. The pressure reduction was the reason resuscitation had been possible at all. Twin A stable, 3 lb 11 Oz, NICU. Breathing with assistance, Twin B stable, 4 lb 1 Oz, NICU. Breathing independently, both expected to survive. Their mother expected to survive. Dr. Adami delivered this in her careful, neutral doctor's voice. She watched the faces on the other side of the table. Dex's face did something complicated, not relief rearranging itself. Something else. The look of a man who had been 3 moves deep into a game and just discovered the board had more pieces than he'd counted. Renata went very still in a way that was different from the stillness of someone receiving good news. Farah looked at Dex. Dex did not look at Farah. Doctor. Adami let the silence run until it became its own kind of data. Then she said, I want to be completely clear. Your wife is alive. Your children are alive. All 3 of them will need significant care in the coming weeks. She said your wife the way people say words they have chosen very deliberately. I'll need the family's full support to be available. She said family the same way. Dex walked out of the consultation room first, jaw set, phone out before he reached the door. He looked at the screen, put it away, took it out again. Renata walked out second. Her hand went back to the gold chain. She touched it once like checking it was still there. Farah walked out last and didn't look at either of them. None of the 3 spoke. After a moment, Dex turned and walked toward the elevator. Not toward room 7, toward the elevator. Tasha watched him go. Then she went to room 7 and stood in the doorway and looked at the woman in the bed. The mask, the monitor with its steady rhythm, 2 empty bassinets waiting beside the window. And thought about the way some things arrange themselves, not cleanly, not without damage, but into something that holds. Maya Briggs regained full consciousness 41 hours later. In those first moments, she knew none of it. She didn't know she'd been unconscious for nearly 2 days. She didn't know her heart had stopped. She didn't know about the twins 2 floors up getting stronger by the hour. What she knew was that Dr. Adami was sitting beside the bed, not standing, sitting. Later, Maya would say that was the thing that told her it was okay before any words were spoken. Because doctors who sit are not delivering catastrophe. They are staying. There are some things I need to tell you. Dr. Adami said, I'm going to tell you all of it and I'm going to be right here while I do. She was. The twins' names came later. Maya asked to see them before she named them. The NICU team arranged it with a wheelchair and more care than was strictly necessary. Because Tasha had made certain requests on Maya's behalf that the team honored without asking for full explanations. The first time Maya held both of them, one in each arm in the soft NICU light, she didn't speak for a long time. She just looked at their faces, tiny and red and stubbornly completely alive. They were both in there the whole time, she said finally. The whole time, Dr. Adami confirmed. Maya looked at them. Nobody knew. I knew, Doctor. Adami said, I'd been watching both of them since week 21, every appointment. Maya was quiet for a moment. What happened with Dex? She asked it the way people ask questions whose answers they've already half assembled. Dr. Adami was careful. She was honest. She gave Maya what she needed in the order she could absorb it. Maya listened. Her face went still in the way faces go still when people are deciding, not whether to be devastated. They already know they will be, but who they're going to be about it. She looked at her daughters. She thought about 3 people in a hallway. She thought about a doctor who sat down. I want to talk to a lawyer, she said, before I talk to my husband. I can help arrange that, doctor. Adami said, no pause, no hesitation. The lawyer came on day 4, Dex came on day 5. He brought flowers, real ones from an actual florist, stems wrapped in brown paper the way expensive flowers come. He stood in the doorway looking at Maya in the bed, and at the 2 occupied bassinets beside the window. And he said her name with the quality of a man who had rehearsed the moment and was now performing it. Maya looked at him. Sit down, Dex, he said. She told him what she knew. She told him what she had already started. She said it in the calm, clear voice of a woman who had been dead and come back and was no longer afraid of the things she'd been afraid of before. He spoke. Some of what he said were apologies. They varied in quality. Some of it were explanations, which she let him finish before pointing out that she hadn't asked for them. He left 2 hours later. The flowers stayed. Maya moved them to the windowsill and looked at her daughters. She had decided on their names, Reese and Wren, her grandmother's middle names. Names that had seemed right for children who arrived against the odds. Reese was sleeping. Wren was awake, studying the light from the window with the focused, serious attention of someone who had just arrived somewhere and was taking inventory. "It's okay," Maya told her. "We've got time, Doctor." Adami stopped by room 7 every day for the 12 days Maya was in the hospital. Not always long, sometimes just to check the chart. Ask how the night went. Stand at the window for a moment. Once, when the room was quiet and the twins were both asleep, and the afternoon had settled into itself, she sat in the chair beside the bed the same way she had on the first day. Maya said without preamble, "You stayed." "Yes, in the hallway, while you were working." Pause. "You already knew about them." Dr. Adami considered this. "I knew some things. I didn't know everything, but you sat down when you told me." "I did." Maya looked at Reese and Wren in the soft light. "Thank you," she said, "for staying, for sitting, for all of it, Doctor." Adami nodded. She looked at the two of them, small, determined, impossibly here, sleeping in the afternoon with the absolute peace of those who don't yet know what came before them. "They're going to be something," Dr. Adami said. "I know," Maya said quietly. "I think they already are. Some rooms go quiet at the wrong moment, but the monitors keep running, and the people who stay are the only ones who ever mattered. And sometimes what everyone in the hallway was certain was the end turns out to be the most complicated, most stubborn, most alive kind of beginning. The bassinets weren't empty. They never were.